For thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord. Thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. Hear, O Lord, and be gracious unto me. Lord, have mercy, Lord, have mercy, Lord, have mercy, have mercy. Deliver us from the negatives of this land. Hold on, your children, to the Most High's unchanging hands. I will exalt thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord. Thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. Touch my anointed and do my prophet no harm. Take it easy on the farmlands. Take it easy on the farm. Blessed are the pure at heart, for they shall inherit the earth. My sister, know your value. My brethren, know your worth. Deliverance, benevolence, service to the Most High Jah. Deliverance,
All right. Good morning, peace and love. Welcome to the Peace in the Morning Show. How you feeling? How you feel? How you loving? How you living? How you doing good this morning?
'Cause thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord. Thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me.
Good morning. Good morning. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, it's not coming in.
That's already up, so can't do too much about that.
I will exalt thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice
What's your
over
is it
me.
Joe Braxton? Joe?
I will exalt thee, O Lord. Thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. Weeping may tarry through the night. Give Jah praise. Count all of your blessings and give Jah praise. For I will exalt thee, O Lord, 'cause thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord. Thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord. Jah.
Yeah, I can't even get you without the. Try to get you with this shot. All right, rewind that. Kick it.
We'll just, yeah, you can take it down. Now we'll turn it back to 1 again.
Wow, it's so dark.
All right, you push play. I'll try it again. I can't tell if the numbers are moving. Yeah, I gotta stand up too. Push play again.
And we are ready to roll. Go live on the feed.
I will exalt thee, O Lord,
Yes,
for thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord, thou hast lifted me up, and let my foes rejoice over me. Hear, oh Lord, and be gracious unto me.
That's right.
Lord,
Welcome
have
to the Peace of the
mercy,
Morning Show,
Lord,
ladies
have
and gentlemen.
mercy, Lord, have mercy, have mercy. Deliver us from the negatives of this land. Hold on, your children, to the Most High's unchanging hands.
What's up, Facebook Live? Good morning. Appreciate y'all tuning in. It's a deep show this morning. We need to share this for your families. We need to protect our lives, protect our children, protect our loved ones. Come on, share this show. I'm telling you now, you will want to be a part of this show. You want to save your family. You want to save your community. You want to save your children. You want to save our nation. This is a nation-saving show. This is a nation-saving show. I'm telling you, when I'm not playing, you know I don't play. I like to funk it up and I like to joke. When I get serious, I get serious. And I'm very serious this morning. Share this show right now. Take my word for it. You will not be disappointed. You will be glad. This is one of the most important shows we've ever done on the Peace in the Morning Show. If you want to see it live and direct, catch us at www.elifemedia.net. We got a lot of folks on Facebook Live, Instagram following us. We want to make sure that you get the full spectrum of this show. That's right. Listen to the music, and when we come back, we'll hit live Mr. Joe Braxton, author, still breathing. Lifted me up.
And not let my foes
rejoice over
me. I will exalt thee, O Lord. God has lifted me up, and not let my foes rejoice over me.
Yeah, crank it up a little bit. Come on. That's right. This is the music of Queen Aya Sudabeck. My mom. Come on. You know it's Thursday, so I go out night.
I will exalt thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord, thou lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. Weeping may tarry through the night.
You're weeping right
Joy
now.
cometh in the morning.
Joy comes in the morning, baby.
Gather your babes and
I
suckling.
got a friend, the sister, Miss Josephine Brown.
Give
Very
God
assistant this
praise.
morning. God bless you, Miss Josephine.
Count all of
You
your
and your family.
blessings.
Remember, the spirits are eternal. We hold on
Give
to the
God
spirit.
praise. For
Don't
I
get caught
will
up on the
exalt
physical
thee,
thing.
O Lord.
Hold on to the spirit.
Thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord. Thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Welcome to the Peace in the Morning Show. This is Darius A. Stanton right here at www.elifemedia.net. We have a very powerful show for you this morning. You know this is an asset-based communication show. We focus on assets, how to get people to the next level. Yes, we deal with pain. Yes, we deal with trauma. Yes, we deal with the real deal issues, but we work the solution. Because when you watch television on a regular basis, all you see, not all, we'd work to also not generalize, you hear and you see negative stories, ill stories. The videos that spread the fastest are the most whack things you ever want to see. Somebody stealing chicken off somebody's plate and eating it and putting it back down. Some children beating each other up in the middle of the street. You know, they Instagram fights between one school and another or in the hallway. All kinds of, they spread that like wildfire. Somebody on, you know, they posting on Facebook, somebody in the street dying or cracked out or piping out or whatever they're doing is negative. People love that ignorance. And this show is about the exact opposite. Work. We like to work that thing around and make it positive. So this morning we have Mr. Joe Braxton. Yes, he is part of the Braxton family, but he is a Braxton on his own. So let me just start by saying that. Good morning, Mr. Braxton.
Hey, good morning.
No
Thanks-
doubt. Welcome to
thanks
the
for
Peace in the Morning show.
Thanks for having me here.
I should say Arthur Braxton.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's right, Mr. Joe Braxton, an author. I'm working on a few books myself, and I told Mr. Braxton, I'm going to buy your book, so I bought his book.
Yes.
And I said, I'm going to read your book, but I'm also going to come back to you for some tips on writing my own.
Okay.
No doubt.
Good.
So, Mr. Braxton, we show or share positive stories here on the Peace in the Morning show. So I have two positive stories I want to share because we have a lot to talk about this morning. Some very serious topics. One, so you know, molestation. It robs us. I want to say it's at the crux of destroying our society. If you go do your homework, okay, for all of you who are using the word, I used it myself, so I'm not passing judgment. When I learned better, I did better, okay? But for those who are using the word mentor, go look it up. It comes from the Greek era. And what happened during that time, for those who are believing and following that doctrine, that era, that part of history, pedophilia was a part of their society. And in order for scholars to mentor as a rites of passage, mentees, they sodomized them in most cases. As part of the army, as a ritual to get into the army, you had to be sodomized. Okay, for those who don't know what sodomize is, it is anal sex from one male or a person to another, not a male to a female, it doesn't matter. But in this case, we're talking about where men had sex with boys. It was legal, it was promoted, it was encouraged. The same way that people in certain cultures get their children, their daughters ready to marry off into a family and the family gives a dowry, they did the same thing with boys. If boys were handsome and attractive, they then groomed them, and it was encouraged. If you had a lot of people who enjoyed you, thought you were attractive, it was respected. And they were giving their sons to other men for sex. That's not good on no day. You can fight for whatever right you want to fight for. There's no right for robbing a child of his sexual or her sexuality. On no day. And we have accepted it. We have promoted it. We've got organizations and religions that have lived for hundreds of years where schools have been raping children and children have had to live under that cloud. Family members raping children. Mothers giving their daughters up for sex. This is happening today. This is not, and I'm talking to every community. I'm talking in the black community. I'm talking in the white community. I'm talking in the Latino community. So don't let color turn you around. So we're going to deal with that. But before we get into that, as deep as it is, I want to talk to you about 15 years after these brothers got together. They went to school and they said that they would stick together as a pack. And this is Dr. Ramik Hunt, Dr. Samson Davis, and Dr. George Jenkins. All grew up in Newark, New Jersey without a father. All came from low-income families, and they were first met as classmates. During high school, they made a pact that they would work together, these three brothers. So they worked together, growing up in the tough inner-city streets of Newark, New Jersey, in housing projects. So those who are from public housing, those who turn down and turn your nose up at public housing, it's a place to live for folks who need a hand up. But guess what? The people in Florida who live in Key West right now in million-dollar homes, guess what they need? A hand up. So don't turn your nose down at people just because they live in a particular side of town or they have a certain address, because the earth really belongs to God and we are inhabitants of the universe. So whether we have a deed or a name on a piece of property makes no difference. So these brothers decided they would stick together and to go to college and become doctors. And guess what? They have done so. And it was no easy feat, but all three of them are doctors now and are working as doctors and promoting young people all over the country. The Pact. You get a chance, go check it out on YouTube. It's called The Pact, Saving Promise of Friendship, a life-saving promise of friendship. Three doctors who did it and did it very well. Another positive story I want to tell you about, there's a school here in Prince George's County, Maryland, where the host of our Peace in the Morning show. We broadcast worldwide on the internet, London, Morocco, Taiwan, Switzerland. You got people from all over the world watching our show. However, we broadcast from Prince George's County, Maryland. And the Prince George's County Public Schools has a school here in Prince George's County that has high school students that will actually graduate with associate's degrees. When they graduate from high school, they will have a high school degree diploma and a college diploma coming out of high school with a 2-year associate's degree from Prince George's Community College. We need to, we talk about our young people and our education. Parents, what kind of research are you really doing? Because if you can send your child to school and they can get their degree, should they be playing football on Saturday morning or should they be going to school? Because how far is the football going to take them? I'm not against children playing sports. My children play sports. I run a sports league. We run a sports league. Nothing wrong with that. But put your priorities in order. If you can see what's going on around the world today, let me give you a real good example. I'm sure some of you all have seen, and if you haven't seen it yet, you're going to see the story in Florida where the 8 people were died based on heat exhaustion in a nursing home. Well, first and foremost, if your parents in a nursing home, when you adults who have children, you are at some point are going to need someone to take care of you. Are you going to go to a nursing home? Is somebody going to come and visit you? Is somebody going to put you there? Is somebody going to make sure that they are taking care of you? Is somebody going to make sure that you're getting the right medicine, the right proper care, that they're changing your body, that you're eating the right foods? They're not feeding you a lot of bread and cheese and things that make you congested, because when you get congested, you get backed up. When you get backed up, that fecal matter turns into acid and eats into your body, and you literally get bed sores. And you lay there in agony, and you can't even lay on your back. You can't even move because you got these bed sores in your body. So you want to make sure that your children, first of all, love and appreciate you, but they have the wisdom to want to take care of you. That wisdom to take care of you is not going to be on a football field. It's not going to be on a basketball court. It's not going to be on a lacrosse or soccer field. It's going to be in your classroom first, and the first classroom starts where? At home. So be mindful of how we raise our children and what we're putting in them. And I'm saying this to you. If you have children right now that are graduating from high school with an AA degree for free, that means that's 2 years already of the college that you don't have to pay for. Take that burden off your children. Make them go to school on the weekends. Make them go to school during the summer. Show them the importance. Show them the numbers. All you have to do is show them the difference in, if I come out of high school with a high school diploma, associate degree, if I get a bachelor's or a master's, show them what kind of money they can make and how much money they'll have to pay for college. And if I can get 2 years for free, come on now. It's right there for you, but you got to do your homework. You got to do your research, and you got to spend time and invest in your children's education. So in order to do that, follow the path that these people or children are doing in Prince George's County that are making that shift, making that move to get out of school early at Friendship High School here in Prince George, Friendly High School here in Prince George's County. Now we're going to get to the topic of our show. So, Mr. Braxton, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me.
As you can see, I'm fired up this morning.
Yes.
But I'm fired up for a reason.
Okay.
Because I understand the significance of molestation and how it has become an accepted part of our society. And I say accepted because, you look at right now what's going on with the situation with Colin Kaepernick. The NFL decided, they decided not to play him, to hire him.
Yes.
That's fine. But what's not fine is the fact that they have people who've been charged with rape, who've done domestic violence and beat women. In some cases, vehicular manslaughter or other very serious crimes, and they hired them. So we sent a very clear message that it's okay to do these things as long as you can make us money. You have a number of New England schools that are prestigious. These are all, everything I'm telling you can look it up and Google it, right? That are prestigious college prep schools that have been now documented with a series of abuses, sexual abuses. The Army has a documented history the United States Army, of sexual abuse on college campuses. 1 out of 5 girls on the college campuses, young ladies, are sexually abused. 1 out of 5. So we have accepted this, and where's Donald Trump and whatever president? Where was President Obama? Where was President Clinton? Where was President Bush on this very important issue?
Well, I think the past administrations were working on, with Title X. The past administration with Title X, they were working on, bringing legislation for the sexual abuse or sexual assault on campuses. And Betsy DeVoe, came in, just tried to flip the script. So
she actually. Yeah. So this is the Secretary of Education. Excellent point. The Secretary of Education. There was legislation in process. Yeah. There was a bill in process to tighten up, to secure and protect people from being abused. Yeah. And that's not just women. It's men as well. Which we'll talk about. And part of the reason for the abuse is the fact that they were abused themselves. Yeah. But now Secretary DeVoe is working to change that to give more rights to the abuser. Right. Now, it's true because there are certain instances where women do cry rape. Yeah. It's very seldom that men cry rape, even if they are raped, because in our society, you're seen as it's a faux pas. It's a negative if you were a weak man if someone raped you, so it makes you look bad.
It's too taboo.
It's taboo, right? But the reality is it's very common, and unfortunately, it just happened in Anne Arundel County. A man pulled a boy off the road, held him with a knife, took him in the building, and raped him.
I saw that. Yeah.
So we have to stand up and address it. But in order for us to address it, we have to be real. So folks who are tied to administrations and people because of the name and the party, throw that out the window. Because if you're not dealing with the core issue that drives our society, protecting our children, then, the party affiliation, the name of the family, all of that to me, you can throw that in a trash can. You wrote a book called Still Breathing.
Yes.
Tell us where you're from, where you grew up, and then we'll get directly into your book. And if you want to give us a call at 240-455-5934, we will be getting, that's 240-455-5934. We will be getting into the crux of the matter, and we want you to share your story. You have questions, but we're going to get, to the heart of the matter. So tell us about, your growing up, where you grew up, and your family structure.
Well, I'm Joseph Braxton. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, born and raised. Grew up in South Baltimore, Cherry Hill.
Okay.
Moved later to Park Heights, and then later we moved to Pasadena, Severna Park area.
Sure.
So, with growing up, I've experienced different experiences in life. So, which makes me able to relate to so many people. I've learned how I've lived without and I live with. So that's what makes me as humble as I am today. Even though I've gone through a lot with Still Breathing, that's the purpose of Still Breathing. But I wanted to take all my experience and show that whatever you've gone through, it doesn't have to necessarily make you a bad person. I wanted to show that I can still be a kind human being. So,
well, in the book you said Still Breathing. For instance, I was born Joseph Braxton, consistent supporter, compassionate friend, and family member. Some people would even describe me as an extremely engaging fella. I'm the guy everyone wants to be around, even though they can't seem to figure me out. Well, here's the thing. I'm still trying to figure out who I am and what my purpose is in life. Part of who I am has been masked for pain for 24 long years. What was it that brought on that pain, Joe?
Well, being molested, raped when I was 11 years old. So just imagine being a little boy or a little child or whoever, what have you, just experiencing that type of pain, and then being forced to to participate in something so painful. So it. I'm going to detail of it. So just imagine, you yourself as a little boy,
Right.
and someone forcing their self inside you. So that's
Right.
a lot of pain. Then being forced to do oral sex, all kind of stuff. So, and then growing up, I had to deal with all that. I held a lot of pain, held that in, or harbored that in for so many years.
Did it happen once or
Well,
repeatedly?
it went on and on.
The same person?
Yeah, same person went on and on. So, so hiding that, you feel as though you have to hide it in our community. Like I said, it's taboo to talk about this type of thing, especially with your family and society. I mean, they look at you like something's wrong with you or you're weak.
Was the person a
like
family
that.
member or a close friend of the family?
So in the book, I have the abuser's name is Robbie.
Mhm.
So I said it as that because I didn't want to
You wanna-
incriminate.
Sure.
My main object was protecting their children, because when I think about it, I mean they kind of ruined my life. So I mean I in no way, shape, or form I'm protecting him,
Sure.
but I'm protecting their kids. So, but just dealing with that and harboring that type of pain can be very detrimental on your life, where it was on my life. So, I mean, I've gone through all kind of things, whether it was running from it to find myself, to find that love. It also plays on a lot of mental aspects. So my father wasn't in the picture.
Mhm.
So mentally, I looked up to that person as, that masculine father figure I needed.
Right.
And so a lot of people may not understand it, but in turn, when you're abused, it kind of flips on you, and you look at the abuser as, that's your role model. So that's how it kind of turned out, and an abuser plays on that.
So when you're in that position as a vulnerable child,
Mm-hmm.
and someone that you looked up to then abuses you, and then they become become a model.
Mm-hmm.
And so people wonder how people end up being abusers.
Mm-hmm.
But in so many cases, right now in the state of Maryland juvenile justice system, 75% of the boys who are in jail right now have been abused. Now, it's not all sexual abuse. Some of it was neglect and other forms, but a great deal of it was abuse. 75%. So when people ask, like, what's wrong with these children? Like, what's wrong with these boys? Why they act like that? They don't know what they've been through, man. They don't know what they've been through. And they talk about them. They talk down to them. They want to lock them up. They say, throw them out. Get them out of school. I don't want them here.
Yeah.
They want to bar them. I want to bar them from this community. You don't know what they've been through.
And that's kind of my life. A lot of people judge me for a lot of choices I've made or things I've done. I mean, it's like, you don't know what I've been through. I mean, and that's was kind of the goal for this book, to try to explain a lot of things. Like, I've gone through a lot, and I'm blessed. I'm grateful to be sitting here in my right mind, because I've been in psych ward. I've been incarcerated. So just running from the pain,
Running from the pain.
And
Well, I thank God for you. Let
Yeah.
me just stop and say how appreciative I am. And on behalf of our community, our listeners, our viewers, we call them the dearly beloved, because you have done something that there's another brother by the name of Jeffrey Timms, good brother, who also, we did a forum, and he came out and expressed, what it was like for him being abused and molested, as a child. And so for you to do that, I just want to thank you. Thank you for sharing your challenge and your struggle. and helping and want to help people, you know, as a result of that, because that's really, we need solutions. You know, this is something that's happening in so many children's lives, and they live with it and never deal with it. And some people today still never know, and they carry that weight.
Yes.
They carry that weight. So if you want to call us and ask us how, because we're going to shift to how do we solve, you know, how do we move forward? You know, how do we still breathe? With Joe Braxton, give us a call at 240-455-5934. That's 240-455-5934. If you want to talk to Joe, if you want to call him and just thank him, if you want to just let us know how you have dealt with and overcome something similar, you know, please, by all means, reach out to us. We're going to go to a quick music interlude, and when we come right back, we will be with our good brother, Joe Braxton, here on the Peace in the Morning show. We got peace in the morning. In the midst of the storm, we have peace. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back with the Peace in the Morning show. We're not going anywhere. We're just going to groove a little bit, because tomorrow's Funky Friday. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to get to some of the solutions and what we can do to help us to get to the next level. Queen Ice,
I will exalt
Crank it
thee,
up.
O Lord, for thou hast lifted me
Yeah, I know,
up.
man. And I apologize.
Rejoice over me.
You know, when you
I will exalt
go
thee,
through that,
O
man,
Lord,
like just seeing that and dealing with it,
lifted me up.
you know, and
I let my
I remember as a child,
rejoice over me.
somebody trying to rape me. You know what I mean? I
Be
remember
gracious unto me. Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, have mercy.
something you don't tell me.
Deliver us from the negatives of this
The music can
land.
instill fear in you too. So
Right.
Hold on, your children, to the Most High's unchanging hands. I will exalt thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. I will exalt thee, O Lord, thou hast lifted me up, and I let my foes rejoice over me. Touch my anointed.
All right, we're going to go back.
I do
My
my
time's a little short, so we'll
prophet
get
no
right back to it.
harm. Take it easy.
Bring it on back down. All right, welcome back to the Peace of the Morning show. This is Darius A. Stanton here live with Mr. Joe Braxton. Still Breathing is the book. Here, we get a shot on that. And Joe, folks want to know, good-looking brother there, Mr. Joe Braxton. Yes, sir. Modeling and everything. You doing any modeling, Joe?
well, I try to do it. I have my good friend who's a master photographer, Jackie Hicks. She takes all my photos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Is Jackie Hicks here in Prince George's County?
yeah.
Okay, I've heard of her. Yeah,
Yeah,
she does great work.
She does very well.
So they want to know, where can they buy the book, Joe?
You can. It's available in paperback on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and it's on Kindle. Also, you can get it off my website at thejoebraxton.com, and if you get it off my website, you'll get a free journal with it as well. So yeah, it's out. It's out there. So
Okay. Okay, well, we'll definitely come back to how you can do that. So, Joe, talk to us about folks that's, they're loving you, Joe, on Facebook. They're saying you're amazing. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
So you talked about, during the break, we talked about control and how the abuser can take control. And I want people to understand the cycle of this. You have to be vigilant as a parent about protecting your children. When children used to stay at my house, I would get up in the middle of the night and I'd walk in and check on the rooms because they're not going to share those things with you in most cases, no matter how tight the relationship is. Because number one, like you said, the pain. And let me also be clear. Children are also curious. So it's a natural part in some instances, for children to fondle each other. They experiment, they're exploring.
Yeah.
The challenge is when, as a family, you don't talk about it, which is why we have the segment of holistic sexual healing and family lifestyles. People are like, what is that? Well, basically, we want to teach people that sex is a good thing. It was built out of the purpose of it is procreation. And we want to make sure that people understand that, and you talk to your children about it, but also to protect your children. So that when they see something that's abnormal or somebody do something to them, they will be able to pick up the signs and feel comfortable with, this is something I need to talk about. I need to tell somebody. Yes. And then that cycle, immediately, people model what they see. So immediately, then they go and find someone to abuse. So that control, and if the person has that mean spirit, there's all kinds of ways that people prey on people. But that mean spirit of, I'm going to threaten, control, if you do this, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to tell your family, I'm going to hurt you, I'm going to do all kinds of things. So you continue to put yourself in that position for the fear. Yeah. So just talk about the ways that the control, and then we want to move to how you came to a point after all of that to be able to now talk about it and to help other people look at it. Because what we want to do is we want to stop the abuser. We want to stop people from being abused, and we want to help people understand the crux of it, so we address it from a more aggressive manner and not just keep sweeping it to the side. It's not acceptable for us to know that boys are going to jail, men are going to jail, and they're being raped, and nobody's addressing it, because those men are being raped by men who are going to come back and sleep in your house. They're being raped by people who have now, the rapist and the victim are both coming home with that on their minds and that mentality. And some get so accustomed to it that they go home and they look to rape people in the community because they got addicted to that culture. Am I right, Joe?
You're right, yeah.
There are men right now that are riding around looking for somebody that they can abduct and rape. Am I right? Am I wrong about that?
You're right, yeah.
So the control, how do people use that control factor?
Well, I guess mentally they instill in you that you're worthless and you're only good to them. So throughout the years, I've been in a few relationships, but I've always felt as though I never was completely satisfied, because you're used to that certain person, abuser. So, and they also made me feel as though I was like cheating on them, So it was a very weird number of years. And the control aspect of it, like when I was younger, they said if I ever told anyone, they would find me on the side of a milk carton box. So I believe that, and I still believe that to this day. So, but I had to break free from that for myself, because I really haven't felt like I've lived yet. I'm finally starting to live now since the book was released in February. So I feel as though since I've lifted this off of my shoulders, I can finally live, a life instead of always living in just pain, constantly every year after year, just living in the same pain and not going anywhere. And so now, like I said, with the release of this, I can finally feel like I'm starting to live again. So I wanted to do this before I turn 40 years old. So I'm 37 now, and now I want to, go on with my life. But I wanted the abuser to know that, your power over me is gone, and I don't know what you have to do for yourself, but you have to get help. And I'm trying to do it, this way, without charges and all this crazy stuff. So I want you to get help and realize what you've done, because
how long did it go into your adult life?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That control.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and people, again, when people are mean-spirited to people on the job, in the classroom, in the community, and people come to you never know what people are dealing with. You don't know what my grandmother used to say. My grandfather was a wonderful man, but he was a disciplinarian. And when I come home from school, from junior high school. He said, now, Tony, did you do your chores? You do your dishes? Did you take the trash out? How come you didn't do this? How come you didn't do that? He would jump right on me because he was about that work ethic, right? Which, thank God, we able to do the show every day because we got work ethic. On the other hand, my grandmother would say, Lamb, won't you find out how the boy's day was before you jump on him? Find out if he got in trouble in school. He might have gotten into a fight. He might have had somebody, do something to him. Find out if he's okay. Then jump on him, Lamb. We don't take time out to see how people are doing. Yeah. Emotional intelligence. We're so focused on the negative and what people aren't doing versus the good. And, what do you think would have made the difference? How could people have intervened in your life? The power I get was so strong because he had instilled that control and fear in you for a long time.
I think if there was a little more involvement, if a number of ways, if the society, our community, we're so like growing up in school, you're getting teased for this and teased for that, and so you try to avoid all of that as well. But I think one big thing is like the parents have to start being more involved in their kids' lives, more communication. You can't be talking down or negative on certain groups or classes of people in front of your kids because they're gonna think, "Wow, that's me." And my parent thinks of me like.
Say that again. So I want people to grasp, understand that. Please.
So I think parents, they cannot talk down or negatively on certain groups or classes of people, whether they're gay, homeless, doing bad, different levels in front of their kids, because their kids gonna look at them and say, "Wow, this is me. What if I'm this way?" And I can't tell my dad or my mom this
because they look down on.
They're gonna look down on me, and that's gonna make you too afraid of going to them.
Because you never want to disappoint your parents.
With them. You do disappoint them. So, as a society, we have to get better with the parenting aspect, and leave the kids' minds open to different things. Don't instill this or certain hatred in them that this is wrong and this is right. Let them grow up and figure it out on their own. But you can give them a little insight, but let them have their own way. So that's another thing. But with I guess they just have to be more involved in their kids' lives.
The fact that you talked about it, and that's why we push and promote here on the Peace in the Morning Show asset-based communications, because what you're talking about is deficit-based. So we work in every possible term, right down from our greeting. Instead of saying HELLO, hello, the root word of hello is hell. So why would we promote that? So I say peace and love. Now, you don't have to say peace and love, but say something that puts positive energy in the atmosphere. Okay. But parents, they model, they talk about people, they get on the phone with their girlfriends or their buddies, and they talk about people like dogs. Yeah. And then their children watch that, and then they emulate it. But like you said, the other thing is, after they watch it, then they're afraid, because if something that they're involved in, they get in trouble, they're like, I can't tell my mother because she thinks so-and-so is a dog and a bee and a this because she's homeless. Or because, a prime example, I rode by a neighbor whose all this stuff was out on the lawn, right? And I saw the sheriff. So my first mindset is, and this neighbor really didn't speak that much, spoke kinda, but my first thing is, what could we do to help them? Other people, first thing is, oh, they must not have been paying their bills. You don't know what's going on in their lives.
Yeah, that's how society is today.
But we can't wait to be negative. So that's why we are promoting asset-based communications, and cut that gossip, cut that negative talk, cut that putting people down, even when people are found to be wrong. Are we perfect?
No.
You just didn't get caught.
Yeah. Right.
You just didn't get locked up.
Yeah.
Nobody just caught you doing your back door deal, or your sidebar relationship, or your whatever it was. You just didn't know, it wasn't exposed.
Right.
So we're not in a position to pass judgment on other people on no circumstances. You know, sure, hold people accountable, but hold ourselves accountable as well. And don't go out of your way to knock somebody else down instead of building them up. So solutions, Joe, let's talk about solutions. What can we do to, and I want people to share this video because this is, I told you, it was going to be the most powerful video, the most powerful show that we've done. And we've had some very good shows here, thank God, based on the comments that folks have sent us here on the Peace in the Morning show. But the reason why this show is so important is because child sexual abuse is at the crux. Think about this. If the top schools in our country are producing top leaders, and the top leaders in our country have gone to these top schools and they've been abused, then they're leading with an abusive mentality. Why are we so war hungry? Why can't we wait to blow somebody else's country up, not caring about the damage? You have some type of an abusive behavior in your DNA. And it may have very well come from being sexually abused, especially if in the United States Army, men are being raped by other men and it's not being talked about. Just documented, but it's not talked about because, again, it's taboo. So, Joe, what are some of the solutions? You said, you know, you ended up on psych wards, you've been to jail, you've been through a lot to get to where you are now. What are some of the things that people can do who have experienced what you've experienced? How did you come out? How are you coming out and dealing with what you've gone through to now be at a point where first you can talk about it, you can share it, you can write about it, you put your face on it. I stand behind this.
Yes.
You know, how can people bring themselves to solve and to come to a point where they can move forward in their lives?
Well, also by it being Suicide Prevention Month.
That's right, National Suicide Prevention Month, exactly.
It's also important that you first love yourself. So you have to believe that you're worthy and that you of value or you're worthy of love. So you have to value yourself. Then you should also feel safe to share whatever you're going through with a close friend, somebody you trust, somebody that's not going to listen to you and spread your business. So someone that you trust, you can go see a therapist. Talk to your parents if you can, or you just keep a journal or something. You have to just start writing it, letting it all out. What I've done, I've chose to write a book because I wanted to also help others. I wanted so many other people to know that they're not alone. Because for so many years I felt like I was alone, and I was too afraid to share my story and without everything I've gone through. I was so embarrassed by it. And I had so much resentment built up. So I wanted so many, because there's so many people out there who feel alone. I get so many testimonies every day from people sharing their stories with me that they've never shared with anyone. And
so they need somebody. So first and foremost, write it out. Find somebody to share and get it off your chest.
Someone you trust.
Someone you trust.
Yeah, because I guess you just have to get it out of you, because once you release that pain, you can move on with life, and it's so humbling, like these stories that I'm hearing, and I'm just like, wow, like I'm
not the only one.
Like my little old book,
did this,
and sometimes I sit and I get so emotional because I'm like, wow, like we all have stories, and you never know how your story can change someone else's life. So I think, like I always say, there's power in your purpose. So everything I've gone through, I ask God every day, why am I still here? Why am I still here? And so I just have to keep walking in my purpose. So I want to keep walking in it to help others as best as I can. So, but like I said, you just have to see a therapist, get help, and know that you're never alone, and you must love yourself. Start every day by instilling like positive words, like look in the mirror and say you love yourself.
I love myself.
Yeah,
yes, we did that here in the show. You know, ask people to look in the mirror, and we probably will close with that today. Yeah. Just saying to yourself. Yeah. Some people literally. Was there a time? So I like to make sure I verify what I say. Was there a time in your life that you couldn't look in the mirror and say, I love you to yourself?
For so many years, yeah, many years.
So, and that's, I mean, just think about that.
Yeah.
How many people literally cannot look in the mirror and say, I love you to yourself?
Many years.
And so, you know, the beginning of that is to be able to just express that love. And it's unfortunate how many children and people who live in nice houses, drive nice cars, and nobody tells them that they love them.
Right.
So just, you know, I wish I just throw the materials, just throw it out the window.
Yeah.
Just throw that material stuff, those bags, those pocketbooks, those nice cars, those watches, the bling bling, the stuff that we make seem so important that we put ourselves in debt for, have no real have no real power in terms of the energy that we need to sustain ourselves in life. So, Joe, after you share it and you talk about it, you know, with someone, then what are some of the other steps to then get it being on the road of once you release the pain?
Self-healing. I mean, you have to. Of course, it's not going to be done and gone. And I mean, done with that day. So you're going to continue to heal. So you just have to keep going through the healing process. Keep growing through the healing process. Like I said, you have to practice self-love every day. So you have to keep loving yourself. You have to stay strong. You have to be stronger. You have to be stronger than your urges. You have to be stronger than the control, the power that your abuser had over you. So you just have to keep fighting every day to maintain your positivity, your saneness, because you have to believe that you're worth it. So
your worth, your value.
You have to believe that.
And you found your worth and your value because you are an entrepreneur in healthcare design, massage wellness, business management, customer service.
Yeah. Also,
so tell us about that side of you and how you've been able to now, out of all you've been through, turn some things into dollars and cents.
Well, dealing with all that, I've always had a, you know, in my heart to help people, help others. So I could have been like, you know, nobody would have never known that. I mean, I've been like broke so many days, and I'm still out helping others. You know, feeding homeless, donating this or donating that, or supporting someone else's business. But because that's my heart, and I started the Lapels for a Cause brand, which I make the lapel flowers for men and women, and the leather bow ties. And I started that to represent like all the causes out here. So instead of wearing like a ribbon for each month for all the different causes, you can get like a pin made in that color. So I started that to try to remove so much stigma from all the different causes as like HIV or cancer, different things like that. So people have to learn that that we have to love each other, and we have to be there. We're in this together. And so there has to stop being so much negativity towards so much stuff. And with the massage therapy, that greatly helped me out so many years. I went to school for massage therapy. But doing the massages, I released so much negative energy, the transfer of energy.
The transfer of energy.
And
the power of energy.
That
That's
kept
right.
me sane so many years as well. So, but I just like to, I like positive things. I like to support positive things, and people who are supporting other people. So, and I'm all there for that. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
So one is to share your story. This is for people who have been in a situation where their lives have been impacted by molestation. This is National Suicide Prevention Month. In the African American community, homicide is the #1 killer of African American males between 14 and 24. It is the #2 killer of African American teenagers, 16 to 24 years old, is suicide. And depression is one of the cruxes, the foundation of suicide in so many instances. And those things that have happened that make people feel worthless and not being able to share. So you said sharing your story and what's going on is the first thing. Find someone you can trust to release this pain. Then the second is to build your self-worth and your self-value, and to put up positive images and positive words and things you want to emulate. We talk about self-efficacy a lot here on the Peace in the Morning show, so that you can build yourself up and so surround yourself with those words. And then your passion, identifying your passion so you can run in your purpose. You can run in your passion, and you can then be defined by what you want to do in life and not what other people want you to do or what other people want you to be. Because you have to live somebody else's life, stepping into your own shoes, even for the matter of funding, and then giving to others. Learning how to give of yourself is the other thing that you said. So, Joe, we are so thankful to God that you decided to come on the show. The folks who are writing in, are just very thankful that you took the time to do what you're doing. Your story is so powerful. Men need to see this.
Yes.
Of every color, of every economic background, they need to see that there's a man, and there are men out here who are standing up and say, somebody abused me, someone molested me, someone forced me to do these things and kept control over me for years, but I'm in a better place now. And I'm able to stand up, because they need to know that somebody else is going through what they went through and made it and is making it.
Yes.
And so what you've done for so many people is so powerful. Yes. It is just unbelievable. There's a program coming up this weekend. It's a party, actually. Here on the Peace in the Morning show, we like to party with purposes. And a good brother, partner of mine and friend, Jeremy J. Newkirk, the CEO of Be Official Management, has the Improvement Tour that's launching this Sunday, September 17th at the Howard Theater. And it's going to be music, all kinds of bands and rap artists and vocalists. T.I.'s brother is going to be performing. Young brother DeAndre Wall is going to be performing, happens to be the nephew of John Wall. So, just a number of other folks that are going to be in the building. Lenny Harris, Siva, just a boatload of talent going to be there all day. But it's about improvement. All positive but funky. Okay. All positive but hip. All positive but cranking, straight hip-hop, hard as you want to get it. But it's going to be positive instead of all of that negative stuff that we've seen. So we want to encourage people to come out and support the Wallway Foundation, Be Official Management, and what they're doing at the Howard Theater this coming Sunday from 12 to 8, day party. It's going to be off the hook. You want to be there. So look it up, check it out. Cover 360 launching the Improvement Tour at the Howard Theater this coming Saturday. So, Joe, I appreciate you, man. The Peace in the Morning show, the Dearly Beloved, we love you. We appreciate you being
Thank
here.
You. Appreciate being here.
God bless this brother for his strength and his power. Here at the Peace in the Morning show, we're on our overtime edition, but we're going to bring it on in at this moment. And tomorrow's Funky Friday, so we're going to have Jeremy Newkirk and some of the whole crew that's performing. So that's going to be hot. Right here in the studio, a few comedians. So we're going to have a real party tomorrow here on the Peace in the Morning show for Funky Friday. For those who, I can't apologize for the emotion and passion. All I can say is that we're promoting and pushing peace, and we're pushing love here on the Peace in the Morning show. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for your love. And what we want to share with you this morning on the Peaceful Moment is just this. Stand up. Be vigilant about peace. Be vigilant about love. You can see from this good brother, Joe Braxton's book, Still Breathing, that one man telling his story can make a difference. One man telling his story can make a difference. So you make a difference when you take a stand. Don't listen to other people when they say, oh, if I do this, it's not going to make a difference. It's making a difference. Look at Dr. King's history. Dr. King, I understand, at some point in his earlier childhood life, tried to jump out a 3-story window, killing himself because of the pain and what he saw his family going through. And look at what he did. Look at how he overcame depression. He was depressed, So while you dealing with people and you don't understand what's going on, check on them, love them up, do what you can to love people. Love people that even hurt you, because you don't know how hurt they have been to put them in a position to hurt you. This has been Darius A. Stanton for the Peace in the Morning Show. Thank you so much, Joe Braxton, for being here. We want to thank Saud and Dr. Clark, Mr. Clark, for his work on the Peace in the Morning Show. We love you very much. Peace in the morning. See you for Funky Friday. Bring it up.